Exercise 4. In this exercise, we take a look at Rhino's capabilities with just simple Revolve features as well as a little bit of freeform to create this cap that you see here. So there's going to be some trimming and some other tools that we'll take a look at here. So let's begin. Start with a new part file and make sure it's the small objects inches. We're going to start on the front plane, so zoom out of this one. We're going to need a little bit higher here. And take the line tool and proceed at the origin to drag out the line about 2 blocks to the left, and then about, let's see, 2, 3, 6. So right about here, actually 5.5. Right click, and then up here, at about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So right about here, we'll go ahead and add another polyline for the top of the bottle. And now you can use the interpolate curves, and we're going to go with start tangent off of this point here. Click and drag it up and in, move it up again, over, and then end tangent at that point there, and drag it straight up. We could also add the fillet tool here. With an arc, we'll go with a actually 0.25 radius. Select the bottom here, put that in, and then go with the circle tool. And starting at the second rung here, let's go ahead and we're going to draw out some small circles for some ribs. Right click. And now we could go ahead and just trim those. So we'll select this line as the trim tool. The objects to cut, just click on those outer edges. And then do it again, this time selecting these inner circles. Right click and select the centers of each one. Now we could go to the fillet tool again, and we'll put in 0.06, put some radiuses on each one of those. So here, here, and I'm right clicking each time to reset the tool. So right click, 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 right click, 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 right click, click, click. Okay, now we're ready to revolve this. So go to Surface and find Revolve. Select the curves Revolve with the right mouse button and make sure Snap is on and click on this in this point here. And, okay, so at this point, make sure full circle is selected. And there we have it. You can maximize this view here, shade it, take a closer look at what you have. I just added an additional rung there of cutout there. Okay, now at this point, we want to make a cap, and this is actually a bottle that actually existed some years ago. It was a bottle that was used for coffee creamer. It had like this red cap. It was very interesting, kind of molded on the top, and with a little lip on it. So we're going to generate that. So on this right view, zoom up to that. Actually, we could just maximize it. And we're going to take the curve and the plate points, snap to this point here. Actually, I'm going to hit escape for a second. Let's click on that again. And make sure you start tangency. Click on that point, drag it up. And we'll drag it across here. Then end tangent. At the middle, click and drag it straight across. So that's the front. And now the back is going to have a little notch on it. So we could go over here, right click again, start tangent off the base, turn off snap for a second to make this design. And then I'm going to go and tangent, turn snap back on, drag it straight across. And we created like a little thumb area we could snap the cap off with. Now if you want to change that, you can. Actually, I'm going to leave it at that. And now what we're going to do, we'll go back to double click on right, go to perspective, and we'll shade this. And we want to go to surface, sweep with 2 rails. So we'll select the first curve, second curve, and then this edge. Right click, and we get a little bit of a strange phenomenon here. So let's hit cancel there. That would indicate that my curve is screwed up a little bit. And sure enough, look, it's skewed. If we go back to this view, I should have probably taken a look at this earlier. So those curves need to be fixed. Let's just delete that. And that. And we'll try that again. Make sure we're on snap. And go back to the curve interpolate points. Drag this up. I'm not going to go with tangency. I'm concerned that I was grabbing tangency off of something else. Drag this up. Turn off snap. Drag it around. And actually I can hit end tangent. Snap at this point. And straight across. Okay, verifying this, it looks good. So now the next one, right click, snap to this point here, up a little bit, around, and we'll go ahead and end tangent in that point and clear across. And again, it looks pretty clean on that view. So let's go back to perspective and try and get this worked out here. So we could go to the surface, sweep 2 rails, select this curve, select that curve and this edge, right click a couple times, and we're looking good there. Do not simplify, hit OK. So we got our lid. Okay, at this point I'm going to go ahead and change the color of that. We can just go to the color wheel here, select it, and the display color, make that red. And the bottle itself, we'll just leave that the same color. If we want to join it all, we can go to join and just select the surfaces here. Just make sure it's touching. Okay. At this point, actually, we're going to keep them separate to some extent so we could change the colors. Sometimes you might have to explode the surfaces if you want to add rendering capabilities to this. So let's go to the render. If you render right now, you'll see none of the colors carry over. But you can click over here and go to the little red ball. Now you can select that part there. And actually, let's go back there again. Okay, and actually I'm having some difficulty getting it to come up here right now. Not sure exactly what's wrong with that. There we go. Have to hit enter. Okay, we go to basic and change the color with the red, and then we want it glossy, so we'll set this about 20 for gloss. Hit enter. And now go right click again and select this body. Right click, basic, color. And this one's going to be kind of like a cream color. So if we go with the off yellow a little bit there, a beige, and hit enter. Now you don't see them update right away. It isn't until you actually go to the render tool that you can see it update. And actually, I should have entered a more distinctive gloss finish to that. So I'll go with 50 and hit render again. There we go. It's a little bit glossier surface. So you can play with that and get the type of surface that you're interested in. You could also set that to transparency if you wanted to. Over here there's transparency. I'll set it to 50. And let's see what that looks like. And now it looks like it's a transparent bottle. Do this as well. Click on that. Set to 50 as well. There it is. And that completes this exercise. Actually, there is one more thing. There's lights that you can set up in here. Go to the other views here. What I'm going to do is set up some spotlights. And you can build a floor if you want. Or they have the spotlights here. They have different types of lights. They have tube lights, spotlights. And what you do is you just get above it, click and drag out a diameter, and then aim it. And the cone angle is the adjustment as you drag this up. So now, we go back to this view. Let's hit render. You start to see shadow effects and such. You can add additional lights. We'll actually add a floor in here. If you want to add a floor, you can go to the box tool here and just draw a little box across like that. Drag it down. We've got ourselves a floor. Actually, I should have made a larger one. Let's delete that. Drag that down. And now we can render it. You can see the lighting effect that you get on that. Add additional lights. In this case, I'll click over here, drag a small one out there, and point it at our part. Remember, you can move them a little bit if you want them off center. You can drag them around in the different view orientations. And then click, and we can see our shadow effects appearing there. If you click on the lights on the right-hand side, you have more options as well. You have the ability to change the light filter, so maybe you want like a magenta color. And now watch this. It didn't really update what I was thinking there. Hold on a second. Click on light. There we go. Go to magenta. And now we get the magenta light coming off of there. So it's like changing the filter. So you can play with that a little bit and make some different renderings that way. And that completes this exercise.